Hello children. Today Abby's going to tell you a very sweet little story, and it's called Little Rabbit Couldn't Sleep. And there this little rabbit is, as sweet as anything. He's holding on to a flower. Oh, and there are little autumn leaves blowing. Little Rabbit couldn't sleep. Little Rabbit couldn't sleep. There he is, looking up at the sun. He's looking up and wondering, why can't I fall asleep? And look at this beautiful dandelion. And there the dandelion little seeds are blowing in the wind. In the day, the sun is there, warm and bright. But when night time comes, the sky hangs low, dark and empty. If I fall asleep now, there'll be no one watching over me, thought Little Rabbit. I'll just have to wait for the moon. And so he did just that. There he's sitting, waiting for the moon. He's so tired and he wants to go to sleep, but he is afraid to go to sleep without anybody watching over him. So he wants to wait for the moon because he knows the sun goes to sleep in the night time. The trouble with being so tired and sleepy was that he didn't know exactly when the moon would come. He's having a great big yawn. The rabbit waited and waited, and here he's playing with his toes. More time passed, and the moon still hadn't come. He thought he'd better ask someone how much longer he might have to wait. Looks like he's doing a little roly-poly over there. And I think he's talking to the dandelion. This is my first day ever, said a small little flower in the fields. Maybe I will have to grow into a tree by the time the moon comes. That sounds like an awful long time. Little Rabbit thought he'd better ask someone else, just to be sure. He's chatting to the flower, and what a sweet little face he's got there. Look deep into the water, shimmered a little lake nearby. Maybe your moon has fallen and can't get out. That didn't sound like what he wanted to hear. Little Rabbit thought he'd better ask someone else, just to be sure. There he's asking the little lake, and the lake said maybe a moon fell into the lake and can't get out. Look, there's his reflection, Little Rabbit's reflection. Why don't you walk with me, twisted a long and winding path? We can find out where I'm leading, and maybe your moon is at the end, at the other end. That sounded like it might be a long way away. Little Rabbit thought he'd better ask someone else, just to be sure. Look at that long winding path, all through the hills. I've just blown in to these parts, breezed a wind that had picked up. Who knows? I might be a big, fierce storm by the time your moon comes. That didn't sound like something he wanted to wait for. Little Rabbit thought he'd better ask someone else, just to be sure. Look at the breeze, blowing all the leaves and the trees. "We can't see your moon yet," rumbled the great rolling hills. "And we can't see far into the distance, and we can see far into the distance from up here." That didn't sound very promising. Little Rabbit began to think that the moon might never come, and he was getting awfully tired. And then, from behind the hills, carried by the wind along the twists of the path, reflected in the lake and shimmering in the petals of the small flower, the most perfect moon slid into the night sky. Look there. There's the beautiful moon. Now the moon has come up. But Little Rabbit had fallen fast asleep, dreaming of the moon that would watch over him through the night. And there's Sister Moon, up in the sky, watching over the little rabbit as he slept. And that is the end of our story today, dear children. And there's Sister Moon right up in the sky, watching over the hills and all the land. And that's the end of the story. Thank you for the fairy tale.